Hello, everyone. I think that now you can hear me. Please tell me in the chat if you can. We have 20 minutes delay today due to my lack of experience with YouTube streaming. Somehow the two previous lessons worked well, but today I had some problem. For the first time, I made a scheduled stream, and I don't know. Maybe this is why I got confused afterwards. Yes, great that you can hear me. So yeah, as you saw, I was already putting some variations on the board. Hello again. Today we are talking about a game from the Judan title match. Judan title match is the match for the title of 10 dan. Usually in the rating system there is no grade of 10 dan. It is up to 9 dan. But in Japan it is one of the 7 major titles. Judan, and then in China there is also Shidwan competition. I am not sure about the South Korea. Yeah, but better late than never. Good that the stream is here. So now we will stay until 6 p.m. I think. Because I usually aim at like 40 minutes review. So anyway, I guess you watched the game, so you maybe already know a bit what happened. Here, Kagen plays black, and Kagen is a player from Taiwan, in fact, but he became professional in Japan in Nihon Kiin. That's why we see the Japanese version of his name, the Japanese reading of the characters. All right, now he's playing against Shibano Toramaru for the Judan title, and we start with this Joseki. Black's choice is, I think, understandable, even though it's not the most common Joseki, which we see. The far pincer. Why does Black play a far pincer? So probably Black doesn't want to give White a possibility to build a framework on the bottom side. Like this, White extends both from this stone and from the wall, right? And so instead of letting White do this or maybe another Joseki also, Black decides to pincer, and then White plays a double approach. When White plays double approach, Black needs to remember about one thing. Black needs to split these two stones. And there are a few ways to do it, like probably A, B, C, D, E. They are all fine, but it's most common in professional games that we see an attachment. And yeah, White answers once, a common move. And now what we often see in this Joseki is an extension or a attachment. But on the board in this game, on this board, maybe it is not satisfactory for White. Let's say that White adds a move on the right side and Black plays here. Black manages to create such a strong shape, so many points, and now White's wall is a bit useless. Well, White could fight by going out, but the fight will be a bit difficult because Black already has a stone at A. So it's possible to play like this, but White chooses a different Joseki. White goes into the corner. And if now Black still aims at the same plan of building the bottom side and blocks from this side, White connects. Now it's more difficult for Black. Probably the next move of Black would be around here, and then I don't know, maybe we can expect a variation like this. You can compare this position with the position which we have just looked at. Here, White has a control over the corner, so clearly it is better for White than that variation. This is better than a Joseki. Black cannot really accept this. That's why Black splits White stones, and White very simply connects the stones on the bottom. So the final result is, well, it can be considered good for Black if we just look at a local situation. That Black got such a strong shape. It's not just a wall. There are already eyes there. White stones here are completely lost. So with this, Black is satisfied. But then the stone at K3, well, maybe this one is not in an ideal place. Why? Because white already has a living group. So black stone is not attacking white in any way. Well, it makes some sense against that wall, but like probably this is not the first place in which black would like to have this stone. All right, this is a Joseki, and then white continues in another corner. Yes, common move, 3/3 invasion. And where should black play next? Black decided to continue the Joseki. I think the reason was that black is already so strong here. Black will create a strong wall there, and then black will aim at building a huge framework. When I was watching the game, I thought that instead of these moves, black would rather play on the bottom side. Because this is also a big move. This puts pressure on white stones. But the right side is also important. But then we shouldn't be surprised that white continued on the bottom side. This was actually the first homework question. Maybe not the hard one. I think that there are a few big moves on the board. White can play in that corner because it's empty. White can try to split black side, but this move is also very urgent because like this we make sure that our group, our wall of 3 stones is not weak. Instead, it creates points. That's very good news, and it also puts pressure on black stone. And now the question is, what should this lonely stone of black do? It would be useful to help it, but should we jump out? Well, it's not a bad move, but it doesn't put pressure on white. Should we maybe extend on this side? Also looks fine, but it's just a one space extension, not very efficient. Maybe white will bump, black goes up, or white would play Kosumi. White needs to add a move, by the way. If white does not, then there is a very scary continuation of black. Now white cannot really deal with it. If white connects, then white lost the base. And if white blocks, then black goes through and splits white stones. So white needs to add a move after this M3 of black, but white will be happy with such a result, I guess. So if we have a stone at K3, a more common move is to attach. This is actually a common variation. What should white do after the attachment? The first instinct should always be play Hane. But now, black is a bit strong everywhere, and white is a bit vulnerable with this hole. So we will see what it means. Maybe white plays Hane from top. Then black can cut. And if white tries to capture black stone, white will not really manage. Black is so strong everywhere that white cannot fight. Maybe white can play Hane from the bottom, but then black can counter Hane. This is a common scenario. We attach, our opponent plays Hane, and then we counter Hane. So what can white do now? It would feel very good if we can maybe Atari here and try to attack black's shape, but the problem is that black can counter. Black can counter what white does and capture the whole corner. This would be bad for white. So after black plays here, white needs to retreat. For example, play this one, and then black is satisfied with getting, like with enclosing white, getting all the outside, getting all his stones strong. In such case, instead of playing Hane, it's more reasonable to go up and try to split black. Black's next move, go down, aims at the weakness at A. If white doesn't do anything, then we can play here, and white is left without a base. White is very weak. So it seems that white needs to protect. But then black will push, add one more move, and this group became very strong. That group is strong anyway. White can continue trying to split this group, but why would we split strong groups? On the other hand, if we don't do it, then one more move and black's framework on the right side becomes very scary. So this would be comfortable for black. And now I would like to introduce to you the Tesuji, or smart thinking of white. White decided to push first, Because if now black attacks white's group, white is not scared of it. White gets out, white puts pressure on black, so this is not the good time for black to attack white. So instead black answers, then white plays Hane, again puts pressure, black answers, and only now white goes back. So if we compare it with that other variation we looked at, well, it's clearly better for white. Now white has a strong head which went out. Black's shape is not as strong. Well, still black stabilized the shape, but it's not as strong. And probably it will be more difficult for black to build a huge framework if white already managed to go out with such strong stones. So instead of building that framework, what black cared about right now is the last empty side, which is the left side. On the left side, there are not many stones played. That's why black goes here. White needed to choose a Joseki, and well, it is common to just play on the other side. But probably white didn't want this continuation, which naturally gives white a little wall towards the top side. And now the wall won't be very useful because black has already such a strong shape there. We will never manage to build a framework on the top side. So we don't want an influence. That's why instead of going for influence, white decided to go for points. Just take cash. Kick and play the third line move. Just cash. Now we might have expected black to add a stone on the left side because this is a move from Joseki books, but instead black uses a technique, a tactics which we can learn. Black attaches and then goes into the corner. This is a common strong technique which requires a ladder. What ladder? So white's strong answer to these moves of black are a move like this, or maybe also go down. And then what can happen? Black would cut white stones, and then white can capture black stone in ladder, and everything is great, given that the ladder works. But as we can expect, on this board, the ladder does not work. Here we have the stone breaking the ladder, which means that white is in a little trouble in such variation. White is split, and well, maybe white can capture black stones in the corner, but even if it is the case, even if white can capture these stones, black can get many moves on the outside, and black will be satisfied. So if the ladder doesn't work for white, black can play this combination, A, B, C, and likely white should answer with a bit more peaceful move. Which move is the best here? So maybe our intuition might be a simple connection, but it is a bit too defensive, because then black is very happy playing the center continuation, decreasing white's corner territory, and getting stronger on the outside. So instead of playing such moves, it's better for white to play this empty triangle. A bit unexpected because it's an empty triangle, but it's a good move. Now black cannot really cut and fight, because with this move already played, white can simply go out, and then black stones are a bit weak. Well, they cannot be captured in a ladder, but still they are weak, and white can fight. So what black does in such a moment is not trying to fight, but instead sacrifice the stone in the corner and get what black can. So Hanem, connect, white adds a move, and where should be the next move of black? This was the second homework sent in the PDF. So I don't know if you have any thoughts about this one. What is the natural continuation of black? So we know that from a wall we should extend. So maybe we want to play a move around here. It's a good move, but in the game we saw something more efficient. Also, someone might think, before playing anything on the left side, cannot black play this exchange? It would be good. We play an exchange and then we play on the side. We get one more stone on the outside, white gets a stone on the inside. But black didn't choose this one. Also, an interesting question, why? The answer is white doesn't have to respond with a simple connection. Well, there is a risk that black cuts and kills white stones, but before playing that connection, white can cut black stones. Now, if black plays this, white just captures the stones on the outside. If black extends, then white will connect. And well, black got split. There will be some fight between these two groups. Maybe it will be good for black because black is strong here, rather strong there. So maybe black can fight. But maybe black doesn't want it. Now black will certainly need to somehow protect these stones. Black cannot just give them away because there are already so many of them. We cannot just give them away. Maybe we don't want this fight. And if we don't want this fight, then we might better not play this move. Probably most of the players would answer to such a move of black with a simple connection. This is a Joseki move. It's safe. So maybe you can play such a move in your games, but if your opponent played here, then you might also consider first provoking a fight on the outside. Okay, anyway, in the game, black didn't play here. Instead, black played on the left side. And which is the best move? If we don't want to play this one, why would we not want to play this? Well, it is a good extension from the wall of 3 stone, but yes, a bit further, as you say. So instead of c7, we can play c10. Exactly how you suggest. Like this. It is a good continuation from this Joseki, a very common move, Kosumi. And also, it creates a strong shape, so it kind of already serves as an extension from the wall. Very good suggestion. And in the game, we saw a bit different move. I didn't expect it. Also interesting to learn. Attachment here. Attachment here is not that often seen because it is strengthening white on the other side, right? It is strengthening white, and what does black get? Well, maybe a bigger potential on the left side. So usually, if we don't have any stones on the left side, it doesn't make much sense to get a bigger potential to the left side at a cost of strengthening white. But now we already have stones. So if we get another stones from this side, it works well together, right? That's why black chose this move. And Pietro likes c7. Yeah, I also like c7. So maybe it was a better move than what Kagen chose in the game. All right, the game is still long. We need to continue. Where should be the next move of white? Also, not an obvious question, but maybe some of us might think that white should go in and split black because black didn't extend. So white should go for it. White shouldn't let black so easily manage that left side, but it's a bit risky. Black is already strong from the bottom, and from the top, well, black will play, let's say, a move here. Maybe this would not be the very move which would be played, but let's say a move here, and then black can play this one in center, right? So black gets even stronger, and then black can continue somehow an attack on white stones. Probably bearing in mind that the ultimate goal would be to create a huge framework on the right side. Instead of going in directly, white starts with this move. So remember, this was a move that maybe black can play in center, and it is a big move for black. It's also a big move for white. And after playing this move, it will be much easier to go in. Now going in will be already problematic for black. On the other hand, what can black do? Should black play here? This would be over-concentrated. This is not good enough to let white have such an exchange. Black doesn't answer on the left side. Instead, black plays this move. I didn't expect this one, but it aims at expanding the right side. It aims at helping the group of black and also at a future attack on the group of white. So a few functions, but the move by itself might look a bit slow. Since white already put a stone there, it's natural for white to continue by splitting black on the left side. And black will need to somehow take this fight. Maybe run. But, well, black will be running and then white will just connect the stones. Not satisfactory for black. So instead, black chooses an active way. White attacked on the left side, so black will attack on the bottom. Interesting shoulder hit. If white plays like this, black is happy. Black flattened white and created a cutting point. So now black can continue probably on the left side, already being satisfied with the exchanges. But white's continuation is something which we should remember. E7, then F13. Aha, yes. So this would be another idea. So we first lean on white's group, and only then we play here. Yeah, but still white can jump out. Yeah, we can lean once more. Yes, possible. So black is basically, I think that black has a similar idea to what Pavel suggests. But just black thought that this would be a bit too easy for white to give white that box. We want to put even more pressure, so that's why we play this move. We try to flatten white and then play here. But in the game, white chooses common continuation, this and that. So white manages to connect the stones in center. Why is it center? If black doesn't answer, answer in the corner, then white immediately creates life. Moreover, black is left without an actual base. So a bit big move. Also in terms of points, very big. So black continues, and now white can play whatever white wants. White doesn't need to play g3 anymore. So where will be white's move? Push. Black didn't play what Pavel suggested, right? Pavel wanted black to play here and then there, but black didn't do it. And now white manages to take center and push. But black thought, all right, I can manage, because this move doesn't yet connect white stones. If it did, then it would be no go for black, but it doesn't. I can still play Hane and cut white. But it will result in an interesting fight. White cuts. White doesn't want to now retreat and give black all the strength on the left side. White cuts. Black cannot now push down because white will capture black stones. So black needs to push from this side, push again. Then black is happy to give white a bad shape of an empty triangle. But now that we look at this situation, white already got much stronger. And, well, black's group looks weaker than white's group, I would say. With the next move, black jumped. And now I answered a new question. Where should be white's next turn? So if we add a move on the bottom, then black will be the first one to play on the left side. We don't want black to give black that initiative in the fight. And also white thinks that on the bottom, white is already rather safe. Like white already has a bit of eye shapes, white will manage. So instead we want to play on the left side. But what should we do? It would be nice to just capture black, wouldn't it? We play this move and we enclose. Great idea. But black can cut through. And then our net will tear apart and we will be left with nothing. So maybe another move. Maybe we can turn. Black plays here, and then we maybe we cut. And then let's say black plays like this. Well, this could become a very interesting call. But maybe even different. Maybe we clamp. This looks like a Tesuji, doesn't it? Black goes up, and then white just cuts black without any ko. So we might be inspired by such variations. We might think that, oh, this is a way to go because we actually capture black stones, but in fact, it's not really good to enclose the opponent if the shapes which we use are a bit fragile. How would it end? Black would play from top for now. And does white need to add a move? Well, I think yes. If white doesn't add a move, then black can play a few moves and it would become a capturing race. Maybe white dies here, actually. So probably white needs to add a move like this, or maybe first play on the outside and then play like this. But even if white manages to capture the 4 stones, look how much black gained on the outside already. Strength in center. Now black will continue by putting pressure on the group of white on the bottom. Let's say like this, let's say like that. And now black can go with that amazing strategy of a huge, huge framework. So what is the lesson? If your net, which aims at capturing your opponent, at sealing the opponent in, doesn't quite work, like the opponent can tear this net apart, or the opponent can force you into a very bad shape, then instead of doing it, you better play a solid, good shape move. And in this case, such a move is a simple jump. Well, black still has a way out, doesn't he? But it's not easy. We already have a move with a good shape, so we can continue to attack black. And maybe black will manage, maybe black will run out, but what black certainly will not do in such scenario is creating a wall in the center. No, it will be white who will get influence in the center. White will hold the initiative. That's why the jump. Moreover, the jump is a nice shape taken into account this shape of black. Why exactly? We will see in a moment. So, white did not jump. Sorry. Okay, before white did it, white started this call. So this is one detail about that shape, which we can see often in the games, that first Hane, then Tiger's Mouth, and black needs to add a move. Like if it all happens on the third line in the corner. So white, first of all, gets this stone, which might, for example, serve as a connecting stone for h3. But second of all, white has a possibility of starting ko for later. Once white thinks white has enough ko threats, and this is what happened, white thought that white has enough ko threats now, white can start the ko, and black cannot win the ko because it is also a very heavy ko for black. Black's group in the corner will be in danger. So at the moment when white has enough threats, white just starts the ko, and black is forced to connecting. And this means that white already becomes a bit more alive on the bottom side. After doing all of this, white plays that move which I talked about, white jumps. So it would be difficult for black now to use some sacrifice strategy, like let's say play moves like this, because white would now capture black on a very big scale with very good shapes, and well, black's wall in the center would not compensate it. So now black is looking forward to running with the stones. Before doing so, black decides to get a bit stronger shape here. It might be useful if we run with the stones, right? Because we run, then some fight starts, and then if we forgot to strengthen our shapes before, then maybe white will get momentum to attack these 3 stones of black. So no, before going into a fierce fight, it's good to prepare. So black prepares by putting pressure on white's group and strengthening his own shapes. And by the way, here we can see what is the usage of that move against black's shape. So we have here this panda tesuji, as Victor Lin says. Why panda? Because it eats a bamboo. Like black has an option of a bamboo joint, but white plays here and the bamboo will not be there. Black needs to answer, otherwise white will just play the splitting move. So black also chose a very creative way of answering, which gives black the outside, but white got stronger, and then white added a move on the bottom. Making life or almost making life with that group on the bottom. And now black does what? Well, black first takes the ko once, okay, and then tries to run with the group. So the ko is a bit annoying because white is not completely alive. And this is black's chance, kind of. Thanks to this ko, many things will be easier in the game. But now black goes out, and what I said before, because white played correct shapes, white jumped. Now white has enough power in his hand to attack black. Okay, now black managed to capture the ko, and white answered simply. Okay, and black goes out. Here is an interesting moment, by the way. How should black connect the stones? Certainly black needs to connect the stones, and maybe the first move which comes to mind is solid connection, but it's not a good shape. If we play a solid connection, then this move of white is center. Center for cutting off 4 stones. And if black answers, well, this already means that black's ice situation on the left side became much worse. Black can have only one eye there, and white can still attack black. So instead of playing such moves, black plays this one to not give white center moves around here. Well, now white can put pressure on black from the outside, but black finds time to basically to create 2 eyes on the left side. It's a bit complicated life and death problem, so it is not yet completely like 2 eyes. White plays this move, and actually this move has a meaning concerning that group of black, because without that move, this move of black is center, which helps in eye creation. So white plays this one, and this means that black needs to go back and create eyes for the group. But before going back, black tries to play a bit more actively, Atari once, and then a move on the top. Now, if white tries to kill black, what is the killing move? Can you tell me? I guess this is the killing move, right? If black plays here, white can go like this and that, and without this move center, black cannot create 2 eyes. So white can just push, but if white pushes, then black can use white's weaknesses on the outside and just create an eye there. So white adds a move here, and then black lives with the group. So this is how the fight has finished, and we move to the second stage of the game. The second part of the middle game. Where should be the next move of white? Well, it was a part of the next homework question, but the move was already on the board. I think it's quite natural move at this point, because there is only one side where there are no tons of stones played. It is the right side, which used to be a big potential of black. But now white will get the first move there. White also got relatively strong in the center, so probably black cannot dream of getting a moyo on the right side anymore. White played a move, splitting black's side, and in fact, black's wall becomes a little bit thin. And the homework was, how should black answer? Interesting question. I really like the idea which Kagen had in the game. In fact, AI doesn't find it the best idea on the board. AI thinks that it is normal to just play a move like this, strengthen the group, put pressure on white. White might play a move like that, threatening that white goes out with that stone, so black will need to answer. Maybe white goes up, probably something like this, and the game would continue. There is still a possibility of attacking white's group on the bottom for black. But black wanted to be more active. And instead of playing from the top with this move or that move, and also instead of playing from the right side, which would give white a chance to attack that group even stronger, black tries to play center moves black pushes here. If white doesn't answer, then black would actually put a lot of pressure on white's group. And in a natural way, black would get stones, which would help that wall. Black would connect everything and put pressure on white. So it's very painful for white. White cannot really ignore it, but if white answers, then the next move of black, again, it feels like Sente. If white doesn't answer, then black plays Atari, plays here. Too bad, too bad. So white needs to play one more move, but if white extends, black got two moves for free in Sente, and these moves certainly will help in the fight. Instead, white decided to be a bit more active, playing the double Hane, but then again, black managed to get a very nice strong shape in the center. White now counts on this head and tries to still split black. So white goes through. And as the next, then white tries to destroy black's base. And as the next move of black, we have a Tesuji, which we already know. So how should black help the wall? Well, black can try to connect it, but will it succeed? A bit difficult reading here. In fact, not easy. Is it possible to connect with like this or maybe like that? Not easy to connect. But before playing any move, we can use the technique which white used before, Hane and Tiger's Mouth. So if white ignores, then we know what black does. Black just creates life in the corner, at the same time gets a lot of points and puts pressure on white's group. In fact, this move would be Sente for black, and then for sure black manages to make life. So no, white needs to answer. To this combination, white almost always answers. But this means that black got a stone, which will help in connecting. And this is what black does. Black connects. Now it's already, well, maybe it's possible to dream of some crazy cut like this. But, in fact, there is a problem here, which I didn't think of before. Yeah, there is a problem here for white. So this cut won't really work, and certainly with this stone, black is completely safe, and white is split. But white can also not cry yet, because we have time to create a group on the right side. This is the move I talked about. We threaten that we go down with the stone. So black needs to somehow strengthen that shape. Strengthen. And then, what is black's goal in this game? It seems that white has just created a strong group on the side where black all the game dreamed of getting a big framework, right? So a bit like black failed. Well, before it all happened, black managed to not die with the 4 stones, but is it enough of a success to not die with the 4 stones? If we look at the territory situation, well, white has 3 corners, right? White has 3 decent corners, black has only 1. And then black has a few points here and there, but white also has a few points. Here, white has Komi, and what does black have? Black has influence. So it seems that probably white is ahead in terms of points. White should be ahead, because white has points in corners and on the sides also, and black has influence. And if this influence cannot be used, this means that that black will lose. So probably the game is a bit better for white. But black was playing all this game having one thing in mind. There is a bit crazy possibility of attacking this group of white. So now this is the time. Black goes here. White can capture the Ko, and if we can capture the Ko, of course it's good to capture it once, but black will play a threat, and black has threats. Black waited for this moment, split white's group, and now black has threats against it. White answers creatively, and then black takes the Ko. And what should white do now? This was the last homework. Maybe a bit tricky question, because if you sit down and read the variations, then you can see that White can play like this, and white is alive. But yeah, white has 2 eyes, but black in center manages to enclose white. And suddenly, kind of out of nowhere, black gets new points. And the influence is not useless anymore. It serves to create new points. Black still has center, so maybe black can play, I don't know, a move like this, and if white answers so simply, then black gets really a lot in the center. So this would be a way to come back to the game for black. It's very tempting to just make life and live locally. Live locally, don't go into any complications. But white thought that this is not acceptable. And instead, white goes up. This means that locally white is not alive. But remember that there is this core. So it will be, in fact, very difficult fight for black, because for every threat which black thinks of and loses points on, because usually when we play threats, we lose by playing them. For every such a threat, white will also think of threats which threaten that white goes out. And what can black do? Can black ever block white in a way that there will be no more threats? Difficult to think of such a scenario. In the game, yeah, black tries to somehow contain white, then play another threat. And then, since this was interesting, because after the threat of black, white thought, oh, there is a double threat on the board. If white plays a normal threat now, then black will continue with this one. And why would we let black do it? We can play this threat ourselves. Black ignored, and white got a lot of points. It might look to you that white's choice is a bit weird, because white's group on the bottom is much bigger than these 4 stones. But no, it's not just this. White's move threatens to kill black's group. If now black doesn't add a move, white can play like this and that, and black is dead. So black needs to continue, which means that white captured so many points in center, and now white can still continue on the bottom side and maybe still try to run. So we can just watch what happened. White tried to run, and as a result, it was a bit difficult to run, so white managed to save only a part of the group, and black got this part. It seems that black got a lot, but first of all, white also got something. Second of all, black got nothing in the center, and you remember there was an influence, and maybe black could count on getting a few points in the center. In this scenario, black doesn't get any points in the center, and yeah, white has center to continue and play more moves. So this is how the last fight in this game has finished. Now we enter the end game, and well, you might think it was a nice success for black, but in fact, white is still good in this game. Amazing positional judgment by white that by playing such a co-threat we will have enough. But you know, this is a Judan title match. They are playing with very long time control. I don't know how much, but maybe like at least a few hours, maybe even 10 hours per each player. So they can judge the game properly. And well, there were a bit more moves than what is shown here, but at the end, Kagen has resigned, and white won this game. White is one of the top players in Japan. Yes. So there were times that Yamayuta was holding all the major titles. He was just unbeaten. But then this new wave of players came, and Shibano Toramaru is, well, maybe he's top 2. He already has some titles, and Kagen is also, of course, also one of the top players. So that's how the game finished. I think quite amazing, this score in the end, and very brave choice of white, a correct one. That's it about the game. The next lesson we will have in 3 weeks, because next week I will be at a tournament in Prague, and this will be a huge tournament. There will be 5 professional players, then also a few of these strong amateur players of Asian origin, like I think Kim Do-hyuk and whom else? Kim Song-jin. So amazing competition. in 2 weeks, I will be at a conference in Croatia, and then in 3 weeks we will review another game. So I encourage you to sign up for participating, so that you can get the homework by email, and you can think already before the game about the positions. Um, Maybe we should somehow automatize it, that you can sign up for all the future lessons. I think it would be useful. Thank you all for coming and for your uh, active participation in this lesson. And yeah, as always, I finish the stream with the list of our supporters. You can also support our project to let it grow. I also encourage you to watch the movies, the videos prepared by Sasha Yeroshkin and Paweł Kozioł, which appear regularly on our channel. And then we will see a list of tournaments to which you can come to, a list of Polish tournaments, and also the Polish Internet League. So that's it for now, and see you next time. Bye bye.